All right, Christopher Baldwin, one of the early people. Bruno began a long time ago.
Yeah, 94 in the Daily Collegian, and then started again in 96 online.
Yeah.
At which point I was photocopying the strip and then mailing it to my friend in California who had a website, because I didn't even own a computer at the time. So.
And you were here in you were in Northampton at the time? Huh?
Should I look at you or the camera?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll move the camera. You know, go ahead. But you were in Northampton at the time, or nearabouts?
When I started it, I was in this area. I was at UMass, so I lived in Amherst and Sunderland, Northampton, and all the towns around here. I grew up in Greenfield, which is just a half-hour north of here. So.
And you have now found yourself in the Pacific Northwest, which doesn't matter in terms of marketing.
Oh yeah. With the web, it doesn't matter where you are, really. The only times I've seen that it really matters is like if you're in New York and you're doing a lot of elbow rubbing.
Yeah.
Or in Portland, there's a Dylan McConis is part of this Periscope Studios, which is like 30 cartoonists or so. They all share an office. So if you're in an area that has enough freelancers or artists, you can do that, and they trade. If someone has a freelance job that needs someone else, they can recommend each other and they give each other advice. And it's very It's a very communal office. Aside from that, it doesn't matter where you are. You can, as long as you have internet.
Now, with a few stops in between, Bruno ended, Little D began.
Yep.
Little D ran for how many years?
6, I think.
And then that stopped, and now you're doing Space Trawler.
Yep.
And I was just talking to John, who said that he got all the Goats people over to Multiverse plus a bunch.
Right.
How are you doing at getting people to follow you from one spot to another?
I didn't get everyone to follow. It's Little D and Space Crawler are tremendously different. I didn't get everyone to follow from Bruno to Little D either because they were tremendously different. But my numbers for Space Crawler are higher. I think it's partially because I can more directly market. Because on the web, Little D is for all ages, and there isn't really. All ages is a nebulous group. It's marketing to kids online is a little. I don't know. It's a little tough. I never quite figured out where, if Disney.com or where to focus. Whereas Space Crawler, io9.com gave a review of the strip because it's science fiction. So now, anything that's science fiction, I'm sort of part of that community now.
Right.
And I can do science fiction conventions, and so I think for that reason, it's expanded numbers more. I've gotten to know people better in the comics community. When I was doing Little D and more so with Bruno, I was very cut off. I grew up very New England family where you keep to our own and we just do our own thing.
Well, Bruno was pretty introspective.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't really a go out and make great personal appearances kind of a thing.
No, not so much.
And then Little D, you were really aiming for syndication.
Yeah, the goal was aiming for syndication. And I actually tried to self-syndicate. I spent thousands of dollars. I sent a really nice 16-page or 30-page sample of the first. That must have been 30. It was the first month of the strips.
Yeah.
And I sent it to every newspaper in the country. And then but it's hard to know who's doing the comics. I tried calling, and people were like, "Yeah, no, I never saw that." And after several days of cold calling, probably 100 newspapers or so, without just one person even having received anything or seen it or heard it, I just realized it was just not going to happen.
Yeah, there aren't that many. What is it, Arctic Circle? I think was self-syndicated. There aren't many of those stories.
Yeah. Sylvia used to be. These days especially, I don't know if there's any. I submitted to the syndicates quite a few times, and then they United picked me up for a year for development.
Right.
so at that point, they a new editor brought on Boy Mystic and Slither and D.G. Squeeze. And
Right.
since Lily is such a classic script, I think it sort of just got pushed to the side. Or, I don't know.
But Space Trawler is doing what you wanted it to do.
It is. It's growing. It's been continually growing since I began it. The readership. I'm loving writing it, drawing it. Once I have the first book out, which I'm looking for a publisher. I don't know if I'll actually find one. A publisher or an agent who might find a publisher. Once that's out, I think it can be better known. It's sort of in 3 graphic novels. So it's going to run for 3 years.
Right.
And so since it's a standalone story, I think it'll be easier to give it to people and ask them to review it. I can start doing science fiction conventions because I'll have a book to sell.
Right. It's hard to not have a book.
Yeah. I'm sort of right now. I'm in limbo. You know, I'm mostly selling stuff from Little D, which is my previous script that I'm not doing.
Right.
I think once I have a book, I'll start really hitting getting that out there and selling and getting my name out there.
So it's working.
It's working, yeah.
There you go.
Everything's in track. I don't know if it'll work out in the end, but what the hell? There you go.